Hey everyone, final day of VMworld, and finally we get to speak one of my favorite people at VMware, Joe Baguley, CTO of EMEA. Joe, how has the week been for you?
Long, and you guys know, I mean, what is it? It's Thursday now, I don't even know what day it is. Started here on Sunday, and for me it runs through, non-stop, morning, noon and night, but it's always fun. I can't complain. People will say, oh, you must be tiring. It's like, but it's exciting, it's fun. I want to get to the next thing and meet the next bunch of people, so it's been good.
Yeah, exactly, and I think the announcement this year have been very much in line. I think it was very clear vision, and in the interactions I had with people, they were all very excited about the Amazon news and all the other announcements.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is people always used to think that VMworld Europe was the poor cousin of VMworld US, but I think the last 2 years we've proved it definitely isn't. I mean, last year we had the Dell EMC news, which was huge. Obviously we saved that for VMworld, and this year we had the Amazon AWS announcement, which is also huge. So what next year I don't know, but I think that for me has created a real buzz. Even though we announced it on Thursday last week, a load of people in the audience of the keynote hadn't seen it before, and I heard people going wow, and the Twitter was going mad, and lots of comments afterwards. So the Amazon thing's been really big for us, and I think as another thing to add to the choice that our customers can have, it's only going to be good.
Yeah, you mentioned choice. Obviously, we'd already had an announcement with IBM. We've got our own vCloud Air, the vCloud Air network. How do you see customers sort of making the right choice? Is there a clear difference in the way that we deal with either one, or how does that work?
Well, I think a lot of people look at, they did the Amazon thing and say, well, what does this mean about vCloud Air? What does it mean about vCAN? I'm like, it's just another one. None of these precludes anything that's gone before. It doesn't rule it out. It's just more choice for you now. And it was underlined for me by the CIO of a very, very large airline, phoned me up the other day just after the Amazon announcement. He says, right, I want you to come and do my strategy. I'm like, what do you mean come and do my strategy? He says, well, everyone else I'm talking to is trying to sell me their cloud. You're the only company I see that's independent in all this, can help me have free, proper choice. I'm not making this up, this is what he said. I was in my office going, yes, finally, someone's worked it out. So, that really to me summarizes the play that we're making here with cross-cloud, with the stuff we're doing with Cloud Foundation. We're just enabling choice, and the more choice, the better, right?
Yeah, and can you sort of see this like as a slight repositioning for VMware? Instead of just delivering technology, we're actually sort of becoming a broker as well, because I think we're selling the Amazon Web Services, we're maintaining all of it, so we're delivering that choice. How do you see that?
Well, so the industry's moving from obviously product to service, we know that. I think there isn't a change for VMware because we've always been someone that puts a layer on top of other things and simplifies them and abstracts them. So we did that with x86 servers, with our hypervisor. We're now just doing it with clouds. So previously we were the layer that went across multiple different physical servers. We're now the layer that goes across multiple clouds. Same end. And yet some of those services underneath that layer we're providing, some of those services other people are providing, and again, that's just all based around choice.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward a bit, and you say, well, you don't know what's going to happen at VMworld next year. Are you willing and daring and able to make a prediction about one of the hot themes for 2017?
Oh, I don't know. I think that for me the big theme here is actually there's two I was just talking about. One is watching as our ecosystem evolves. We've got the Solutions Center over there. And previously in our industry we used to have clear boxes for these guys are a service provider, this is an SISO, systems integrator, systems outsourcer, this is a reseller, this is a distributor. Those lines are blurring now. It's very difficult to know who does what, and I think that's going to define what happens in our industry and how customers engage. But more fundamental than that for me is I think you're going to see IT departments finally realize that they're facing in the wrong direction. So those of you who saw the keynote, watch it back on video, saw the Beat Poet come on at the start with a poem. Now some of us had a lot to do with that poem, and in there he talks about which way do you want to face. And that comes from some of the stuff I've been talking about along with others, about the fact that IT needs to stop facing the data center and start facing users. And I think we've gone through this phase of aligning with the business. I think aligning with the business is done, and in some ways it's caused some of the problems we've got. We're now where people need to align with users. So you see our end user computing story, you see all the things we're doing are all about how do you align with users.
Exactly, and that's going to be great, of course, for VMware, because we have lots of opportunities to do that, lots of technology for it as well. We're sitting here at a technology piece. You can sort of call it Internet of Things, this beast. Yeah. What do you see for Internet of Things, sensors being more and more important and all that data coming in? How does VMware fit into that whole picture?
Well, there's three real areas that you fit in. One is the actual sensors themselves and what you're doing on that end. Two is the collection service, and then three is the back end where you analyze all the data. Yeah. And there's a lot of plays there. So in the collection space, there's a whole bunch of stuff we're doing in both management and collection, whether that's managing Coke machines, whether it's helping TV distributors put set-top boxes into houses. Now this is a fun one. Someone said to me, why are you putting set-top boxes in? And surely everything's done with apps and TVs. It's not a set-top box anymore, it's an edge server. And suddenly it gets interesting, right? So what are we doing there? We're doing various different things. Then it's what do you do on the backhaul networks? Now this is cool because now there's a concept of maybe even CDNs are going to have to turn around because the flood of data is so strong, you can't have it all coming back to one data center. It has to be staged. So how do we build distributed platforms across multiple physical locations that are doing the collection and sorting and then cutting down and giving the results back as opposed to just the raw data? So there's a really interesting play for us there around software-defined data centers and NFV play, everything. And then obviously we've got the play in the data center around consolidation, analytics, etc. So I think all the way across that, we've got a play around how we can add value. And we actually have a division starting up next year, the IoT division, being led by Bas Geyer, who's currently our CIO and is interim CIO of Dell and EMC. And we've got a small IoT village here. I think next year you'll probably see a much bigger IoT village. You might see us start, hopefully, an ecosystem of partners around that IoT village and a whole new area of business spin up for VMware.
Perfect. Well, I think we've got lots to look forward to for VMware 2017. Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much.
No props. Always fun.